Hi guys, I'm Sheena, the Sports Report Girl, here with your college football week in review. So after months of sitting on the edge of our seats, the waiting is finally over. We can all breathe a collective sigh of relief now that the first BCS poll of the year has come out. And thankfully, nothing crazy happened. I think most of us are in agreement that while it's fun to see an underdog win, no one wants to see another South Florida atop the BCS, even if only for a week or two. But with convincing wins from most of the top teams, the BCS made perfect sense, and that likely won't be the case for long. Over the coming weeks, there will be plenty of opportunities to bash the system, but for now, I am just happy to have it, because for all of its imperfections, it's still the only system we have. Like the Stephen Stills song, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. So, until we get something better, I am going to love the BCS. The other big news of the week was the firing/resignation of Clemson's Tommy Bowden. Some accounts suggested that Bowden had been given a win the ACC or else ultimatum after falling from their preseason top 10 perch. So when Bowden met with his boss, athletic director Terry Don Phillips, after their third loss, he offered to step aside. Supposedly, Phillips was surprised, but agreed it was best for the program. Assistant head coach Dabo Swinney took over in the interim and Saturday led the Tigers through the emotional day. But in the end, Georgia Tech proved to be too much, winning 21-17. Another group of Tigers were in Austin for the marquee game of the week as number 1 Texas hosted number 11 Missouri. For Chase Daniels, this was supposed to be a homecoming as he grew up in Southlake, Texas. But a funny thing can happen when you try to go home. Sometimes home doesn't want any part of you. Such was the case Saturday when the Longhorns gave Daniels and the rest of the Missouri Tigers a big Texas-sized kick in the crotch. The final score may have been 56-31, but the game was officially over at halftime with Texas leading 35-3. Now, at this point in the show, I'd be recapping some of the other big games of the week, but I figured this would be a good opportunity to start discussing the leading Heisman candidates for the year. I won't be ranking the kids just yet, but I will rate their stock as either rising, lowering, or holding steady for the week. And where better to start than the defending Heisman Trophy winner himself, Tim Tebow. Tebow has admittedly had a down year compared to 2007, but considering what he accomplished last year, it was to be expected. That said, he is the engine that moves the Florida train, and lately that train seems to be gaining momentum. He may have been idle this week, but is still riding high after dismantling LSU the week before. Someone whose Heisman stock is rising rapidly is Texas's Colt McCoy. His statistics may not be as great as some others, but none can approach the 80% completion rate he has, nor the back-to-back huge wins over top-notch opponents. McCoy, like Tebow, is his team's offense. Sticking to the Big 12, Oklahoma's Sam Bradford may still be the frontrunner for now. He is leading a team many think was an injured linebacker away from beating Texas, and his 2008 numbers are off the charts with 2,000-plus yards and 23 touchdowns halfway through the season. Though it appears to be a quarterback's award, there are a few running backs out there to keep an eye on, like Georgia's Noshan Moreno. He may only have 590 rushing yards, but he has gone into the end zone 10 times already. His stock is on the uptick, while Javon Ringers is starting to slide. Though his stats are staggering, 1,100-plus yards and 14 TDs halfway through the season, Michigan State lost badly, and Ringer himself was unproductive over the weekend. Also, 2 weeks ago, Chase Daniels is a frontrunner, but now is quickly becoming a footnote to Bradford and McCoy. And Matthew Stafford started his season with a serious contender, but the lack of consistency from the Bulldog offense has him looking in from the outside. And last but not least is Mark Sanchez from USC. This past week, he threw 5 touchdowns out of 20 passes. That means 1 out of every 4 passes he threw was a touchdown. Incredible. Unfortunately, it was against Washington State, which doesn't do much to impress the voters, nor does his weak Pac-10 schedule. But with the public perception of USC, a Trojan quarterback should never be counted out. Okay guys, that is it for this week, but be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There you will find other cool videos like the Backspin and the Pro Football Week in Review. When you do subscribe, please post your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you, or send them to srg@thesportsreportgirl.com. And of course, there's always our fan page on Facebook. See you back here for another edition of the College Football Week in Review next week.